Sit up, man. You know me, I don't play when it comes to my thing. That is first foremost. It's on the front board, I tell the back board, and I tell bonus in the middle of it too. Yeah. So tell me about this track. What's the title of this track?
Well, it's a soca parang song, you know, and I know that could be a little strange to some people.
Yeah.
Because some people still feel that all Mistah Shak does do is sing songs to criticize government. You know, but I see people who don't really haven't really been okura with you know, my journey and thing. But you know, this one is a soca parang and I call it Parang Joy.
Parang Joy.
Yeah, you know, but you know my songs is always have angles and swings and different perspectives and so on. So you know, it's like it's a nice story. It's just bringing back a nice story that I think you know all
that we have forgotten.
Huh?
Tradition that we have forgotten.
Well, storytelling has always been or it has always been a foundation in our musical traditions, right? When you look at calypso, rapso, you name it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we miss the boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We miss the boat, and you know we get caught up on so much other things and hype and that kind of thing. But as I say, you know, we always keep the story. You know, for me particularly, if you listen to my songs, even the songs that people think are very topical or very political or whatever you want to call it, there's always a storyline.
Yeah.
There's always some cohesive story that you could follow. And you know, sometimes we go into the imagination a little bit, like with this one. Of course, even though it's a quote-unquote fictional story, a lot of the elements of this story, I think every Trinbagonian will be able to identify with. Caribbean people will be able to identify with. Once you're familiar with our culture, once you're familiar particularly with Parang culture, and more importantly, you know, we turn everything into euphoria, and sometimes we could go over the line a little bit. You know what I mean? So that is what the story of Parang Joy encompasses, all of that, and put it in a nice Parang setting, a nice Parang package musical.
Well, I know you're very versatile, but what really triggered that move for you to do Parang Soca? Now, I've seen all kind of things on my phone, and I want to talk about that after the song. What really inspired you to do a Parang Soca?
Well, the thing about it is Parang has always been part of my musical journey. You know? A lot of people don't know, but before anybody even knew who Mistah Shak was, one of the things that I used to do, I was part of a Parang band that still exists actually.
What's the name of that?
The name of the Parang band is Dulzura Caliente.
Dulzura Caliente, I remember that band.
Yeah, Dulzura Caliente means sweet heat, you know, or hot sweetness. You know what I mean? But it's a band that was really founded by my family members, meaning my uncle, which is my mother's brother. Him and some family friends really started the band as a pastime kind of thing, and it just developed because my family was always into music. So it developed where people advised them that they should try to take the thing at least a semi-professional route, which they did. Came up with the name Dulzura Caliente, and they started the band. My mother, who has now passed, she was the lead singer of the band, the lead vocalist. There was a time my entire immediate family was in the band. My mom, my dad, myself, my youngest brother, who people would know out there as the mastermind, he was in the band, as well as my other brother who's in studio here with me. People wouldn't really know him. He's not in the limelight as much as we are, but you know, he was also in the band. As a matter of fact, he was most recently, out of all of us, still in the band, right? But the band still exists. Dulzura Caliente, as I say, I had uncles and aunts in the band, and people who were close family friends. So that I joined the band at a very early age. When I joined the band, I was probably in about Form 3 or 4 or something in school, right? And I continued doing that until it could have been the Christmas after my mom passed, which was Christmas of 2000. And after that, of course, I expanded into other things.
I probably know that lady because I was very privileged to be doing Parang before they started amplify the dancing. You know, I used to do it just listening to the natural rock culture.
Exactly, and actually, Dulzura Caliente was one of the bands that straddle that line so well between the authentic song of the parang and that whole new age amplification thing that was happening. I actually joined the band initially. I started off playing marac, a little bit of guitar, a little bit of quattro, but we were one of the first bands, if not the first parang band, to incorporate the steel pan into our musical fold, right? Dulzura Caliente, I believe, was the first band to do that. And I ended up being the panist in the band.
Is that right?
Because the panist who was there at the time, a good friend of mine by the name of Daryl Edwards, who was a very prominent player in the Fun Clear time or the Pan by Storm time and thing. He was leaving at the time to go to Japan on a little tour. They were trying to figure out, well, where they were going to get another pan man. But just before he left, he had given me a tenor pan. Now, I had my foray with playing pan in primary school.
Is that right?
Yeah, primary school I started playing pan, you know, and I did it for a little while in primary school and didn't have access to a pan after that. But then Daryl came and gifted me this tenor pan. And unknown to them, I was learning all the songs that Daryl would have been playing. So that when it was time for Daryl to leave, the transition was just made. I ended up becoming the panist and continued doing all the other things. As a matter of fact, I reached the point where I was singing most of the soca parang songs in the sets. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about, we would do gigs in places like Funds, and there was this place on Farah Street in Horace's and these joints, and I'm talking about place pack, and we jamming parang and people partying in there, sweating, partying, and so when I reached to do these soca parang, all the scrunta and the this and the that now, that is when the place really starting to break down. You know what I mean? And then of course I young and I getting my feet wet in the thing, so I put in my own flavor to the thing. I sing in scrunta song and I extempo in my own voices. And, you know what I mean? So bringing that energy to the parang now. So, you know, getting back to the initial question, parang was always part of my musical journey. A lot of people don't know that. So that when I first decided to do a soca parang, and that is another thing, plenty of people hear the song this year so far and feel it's the first time that I do a soca parang.
Well, I have that opinion too.
The reality is, the first soca parang I decided to record on my own was all the way back in 2006. I had a song on a rhythm that was pretty popular as a Christmas rhythm, the Christmas Stagger rhythm. You know, there are other people on that rhythm, Maximus and the Blackman Sisters, and Ataclan has a song, as a matter of fact, his song is probably the most known song on the rhythm. And the year after they released the song, while I was working with him, he gave me an opportunity to do something on the rhythm, you know. And I came up with a ditty that people really liked, and that was since 2006. I didn't really get into the soca parang thing in terms of recording again until 10 years later, which was last year, 2016. I did a song called Premium Drinks. Everybody call it another name. Everybody know the song as Presidential Wine because of what it's saying. When the name of the song is the Premium Drinks. You know, so that's what I tell you. I always try to find a way to still stick that Mistah Shak personality and that angle and that perspective into whatever I'm doing. So when you listen to the first song that I did was called El Cuento, which is the story. In English, translated in English, but when you listen to what the story is, it's pretty topical. Same thing with Premium Drinks. So, you know, Parang Joy is actually my third officially recorded soca parang as Mistah Shak. And I also have another soca parang that I recorded before people knew me as Mistah Shak.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was probably 98 or 99, somewhere there. I did a song that was actually composed mostly by Mr. Ashford Joseph, the late Ashford Joseph. I was a student at school at the time, and Mr. Kenny Phillips from down south was doing a plan compilation, and he gave Ashford an opportunity to contribute. And he shot this idea at me, and we stood on with it and work it, you know what I mean? And I did that song. I think the name of the song was No Seri, No Seri. I don't even have a copy of it. But that was before I was Mistah Shak, you know what I mean? I didn't have that sobriquet.
Kenny, I hope you're listening, you know.
I didn't even have a sobriquet yet. I don't even, you know what I mean? It was just a little sympathy, you know what I mean? But so I'm saying all that to say that parang and soca parang is nothing alien to me. In Trinidad, people like to stick you in boxes, and you know, people's first introduction to me, a lot of them would have been boy. So they stick me in that lane. It's a guy, so I know this be the government. You know what I mean? And then other people would have hear me and other like that. So for me, it's just to continue to do me and to find ways to express all the different facets of who Mistah Shak really is musically and what I am able to do.
Let's take a listen. What's up with that?
Christmas Eve morning, 15 big man packed up inside to over. If you see humans, real confusion. So me and me man and joy, we start to entertain the boys. But one song and the lead singer decide to sing, like a mash up the whole flipping thing. But we want to spread joy for the Christmas, get joy for the Christmas, real joy for the Christmas. Can't be my man and he's singing, but show joy for the Christmas, no joy for the Christmas, all joy for the Christmas. Well, I don't really know what's the matter. They're trying to convince me, yeah, me run, but I rush in soon as he goes up. You know why? You can't steal my joy this Christmas. Not my joy. No, you can't feel my joy this Christmas. Yeah, boy, my joy. Christmas is a time for plenty living and drinking. But before
And it will go on through the years, trust me.
Yeah,
I
man.
gotta expose the rest.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so that people wouldn't see you as a in the box, as you said.
Yeah. Well, you know, we just mash up boxes and cross barriers. And, we do everything.
But you've been doing a lot of work. Let's see how we can put it into that 5 minutes. You've been doing a lot of work by Carl Carol's place there.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so
actually,
blues.
August gonna I had my second concert in as many years. Well, it was the resumption really.
Yeah.
Because before that, again, as I say, myself and a group of other like-minded people called Trinfinity Arts, we were putting on our own small-scale shows, you know.
Yeah.
Then, of course, 2010 happened with the Rogue and the March Ground and all of that, and things take a little different turn. But over the last few years, I've been longing to get back to putting my own brand out there, because I realized that while the tent works to some degree and the competition and everything works to some degree, it doesn't really allow you to showcase all the things.
I endorse what you're saying there,
You know?
partner.
So, and I think more artists need to take the chance to create their own platforms too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and collaborate and create
It
platforms.
will give us more to listen to and entertain us.
And not
inform
only
us
that,
and stuff.
it will start to put us on a trend of really thinking more independently in terms of, you know, I mean, you know what has happened for
Self-promotion
of course, you know what's happened for
yeah.
Carnival. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody run to the tents because, you know, it's a nice
And I think it's
experience.
getting too crammed inside that
And not
system.
only that, you see what happening, I mean, as long as you're getting subvention that coming through the government, it doesn't matter which administration, they always try to cramp your style and control it in a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
And I think we really need to, I mean, Calypso should have moved away from that a long time ago. But we you know, so I am doing my part, not just for me, because I need to do that for people to really get a full experience of what Mistah Shak is able to do.
Exactly.
But I think it could also be an impetus for other artists, other Calypsonians to see that, listen, you know, we could build small and start to expand the thing in an independent kind of way, a more independent kind of way. You know what I mean?
Added to that, I see you have some listing of parents, something on your Facebook or whatever. Tell us about it.
Concerning?
I saw on my phone where you said if you need to hear soca parang, if you're looking for soca parang.
Oh yeah,
jump
well,
on
well,
Mistah Shak's
well,
page or something like that.
yeah. Well, the thing about it is that I was just really reminding people of all the work that I had done over the years, you know. So it was just really that kind of reminding people before it was a kind of build up to this release, you know. But as I say, you know, you're gonna catch Mistah Shak in some places, you know. On the 27th, actually, I'm supposed to be down there with Chinese and they'll tour them down south.
Good.
my sister, I believe it is.
Yeah.
When they have the parenting. So yeah, you know, I'm gonna be around doing some good.
So it's been a wonderful pleasure. I'm going to always we always stick together.
Yeah, man.
Yes.